Guys, started a new project slash new hobby. I picked up blacksmithing. This is the first video I've ever done for this. So I'll kind of show you what little I have learned right now. I'm still in the process of making a forge that actually gets hot enough because I can't afford the actual production one. So here I will show you where to go. The leftovers of the first forge I made. It did get stuff hot, but it didn't get things hot enough in order to really move it. And I also made a piss poor choice in the anvil that I ended up buying. So, kind of show you what we got here. So this is the steel box that I had. I cut holes so I can get the work pieces in and out. You can see that it warped and discolored. This little round guy right down here is where the burner went in, and this is the burner that I initially bought. I got it off of eBay. I thought it was a pretty good deal. Well, come to find out, I know why it was as cheap as it was. Kind of ended up making this whole assembly here, as you can tell, through just hardware parts that I found at my local Menards. And then what's in that bag is actually uncut up version of that, which is an aluminum silicate style high temperature insulation. And then I got regular fire brick from my local company around here. I'll show you those. So what I ended up having is it was 2 bricks wide. It was 2 bricks wide. And I ended up stacking these on the side, and then as you can tell I got the hole cut there for that one so the burner could go through and blow all the propane on it, which, by the way, this is a gas forge. I'm running propane. It's cheap, easy, readily available. I can get it at any gas station, and it's one less thing that I have to learn as far as tending a fire, all that fun stuff. So there's that. Right now I just put together, I was going to try and show you, but my hands get so messy dealing with this crap, which to show you, real tough stuff. It's just basically a paste version of thread tape, and as you can see on the new piece, it gets everywhere, so I didn't want to try and record and do all that, but I will tell you where I got this burner. I got this burner actually from Blacksmith here on YouTube. I don't have the end piece down here on right now because I got that sitting in the new forge, which I'll show you here in a second. But this thing's pretty nice. It's very robust built. I've watched Alec Steele on his YouTube channel multiple times, and he always likes it. I like the fact that adjusts so nicely. Changed the air control, and then I got this, and then I got these Kimbo 30 psi regulators. I'll turn the little knob here, adjust the pressure. And from watching Alec use it, he says that this burner really likes pressure, so it's rated for 20. I figure 30, adjust and go as I can. But I'll show you Forge 2.0 here. So what we got here on the bottom is I got 1/4-inch plate, 2 feet by 2 feet, and then I took angle iron, 1/8 inch, to kind of make a square box to help lock the bricks in. This I guess kind of silicone tube sealant that you see going around in spots here is actually a glue. I did that just because I had stuff left in the tube. I mostly bought it because I punched too big of a hole for the actual end of the burner of Alex. So I'm letting that cure. I'm hoping here in the near future I'll be able to get it mounted up on the stand and fire it up and start working. Hopefully make my first pair of tongs so I can start doing some other cool stuff. Going on to the next thing, my piss poor choice in an anvil. Give me a second. Terrible habit. I'm sorry. My terrible choice in an anvil. I'll show you that, and I'll show you the new one that I bought. So, I forget what the brand name is. I think I paid around $65 for it, which should say everything right there, but trying to do it on the cheap. Found out why it was after maybe 3 or 4 times in here, beating on it, moving stuff around, trying to make some tools. It just didn't go very well. So I'll show you what I got going on here. This was my bad choice of anvil. As you can tell, just looking at it, the face is all sorts of marred. And most of these markings actually aren't from me missing with my hammer swings. It's actually more from just the hot piece being struck against this surface. And you can tell that whatever coating that they had on here, I mean, it just comes right on off. The casting on this is absolutely terrible. I don't know if you guys can see it, but you got a hole right there, you got a hole right there. It's very porous, it's mild steeled, it's not hardened at all. I mean, for very, very light work, you'd be able to do it, but even just making my little brackets that I got here mounted into that stump, it marked the surface, as you can tell through some of these markings right here. I never even used my hardy hole, and it looks like it's been beaten all to hell. But my new anvil, I did some research, read around, and from what I could find out, for an actual blacksmith's anvil and brand new, there were 2 brand names that stuck out to me: a Canica and a Pettinghouse. Now, I would have loved to go and buy a Pettinghouse anvil, just because you get it properly mounted and all that fun stuff. The rebound on it is phenomenal. I watched a couple of YouTube videos on guys who did reviews on them, and they're great. I haven't seen anybody do a YouTube review, but I read some reviews, and I went with the cheaper option, a Canica. And the nice thing is the Canica and the Pettinghouse are both drop forged, so that tells me that that's kind of the way to go versus a cast forging. And through reading, I found out that there's differences in that. Even if you get a cast forge anvil, a lot of the times they end up welding or mounting an actual solid piece of plate, versus with a drop forge, the whole thing is hardened and set up that way. At least that was my understanding. So I will show you the new anvil. Here it is. It is a double horn Canica anvil. Sadly, there are no mounting holes, so I'm gonna have to modify Mr. Stump here to fit this, versus the whole setup I had before, where I just had all thread ran all the way through, and then that plate there on the bottom and those bolts, and secured it, and it did all right. But this is a 77 pounder. I like the fact that I got a nice working surface here. I like the tapered design on the back side here. I like the horn. I kind of wish it was more like that, but beggars can't be choosers. It's got a 7/8 inch hardy hole, and I forget what the Pritchell hole is, but yeah. And let's see if I can show you guys. I don't know if you can see it, but very carefully, if you look, you can see all these marks, and that's basically where they pressed this together. And it's kind of cool really now looking at it, but hopefully here in a couple of days we'll get that bad boy mounted up there and make something. So have a good one. If you liked it, subscribe. Hopefully there'll be more in the future. Bye.